Consultants on Call, Solving Organizational Communication Problems. Welcome to the Maverick Electronics case study by SunGroup. Over the next few minutes, we will discuss various aspects of this case study and our recommendations. But first, let's meet the team. Meet the SunGroup team. Shelby Fulton, Strategic Solutions Consultant. Shelby brings 2 years of professional experience in customer service, specializing in client communication and reception management. She is skilled in handling high-volume phone interactions, providing administrative support, and maintaining a welcoming environment for clients and colleagues alike. Natalie Cherukian, Lead Research Consultant. Natalie has over 30 years of forensic accounting and business consulting, servicing clients in various industries from California to New York.
Awesome. So we're going to first talk about the case overview. In Chapter 12, the case study focuses on Maverick Electronics, which used to be pretty successful. But when Japanese companies started making more profitable products at a faster rate and at what costs less, the Maverick Electronics couldn't keep up. This led to the selling of the company to a Japanese company. The union workers did not approve of the selling of the company. The union did not like the new management. They did not approve of the new way of operations. They felt that management was putting too much on their plate, and employees thought their old way was the best. On the other hand, the new Japanese management felt that the union employees were being too difficult to management. They felt no sense of pride from the union, that they just came to work to get a paycheck and they did not care for the work that they were doing.
This slide introduces the key concepts that explain what happened at Maverick Electronics. These theories include stress, conflict, and negotiation. So stress occurs when job demands exceeds the resources people feel they have to meet them. At Maverick, new management imposed unfamiliar processes on longtime union employees, which created that imbalance. Conflict arises when interdependent groups see their original goals as incompatible. The union and Japanese leaders depended on each other, but viewed success very differently. The Thomas Kilmann model states that collaboration, where both parties' needs are met, is the most effective style. And finally, negotiation is communication designed to reach agreement. A distributive negotiation creates winners and losers, but an integrative approach builds understanding and trust. Mediation provides structure when dialogue breaks down. These three processes, stress, conflict, and negotiation, interact constantly in an organizational life. These concepts show how stress and conflict escalated at Maverick and why improved negotiation could restore balance. Moving on, Shelby will discuss the analysis of communication strategies.
Yeah, so when it comes to communication strategies, both sides were doing a poor job. In the case study, we have established a conflict between the two parties. In order for the two parties to communicate effectively, both parties need to come up with what they want and desire. An example would be maybe the union worker requests there are set rules and procedures that both parties agree to. This way, both parties know what's expected of them. When it comes time to communicate demands, negotiations are needed. A negotiation is a discussion between both parties that will hopefully lead to resolving the conflict. In chapter 12.3, the book talks about two types of negotiations. First is the negotiations where both parties focus on increasing outcomes and decreasing losses. This negotiation type focuses more on what the individual party can gain from the negotiation. These negotiations mostly end up in one party winning while the other party loses, or both parties end up not getting everything they want. The integrated negotiation is what I find to be the more ideal negotiation strategy. They focus on both parties getting their desired outcomes. This is mostly due to both parties communicating on why they want certain demands. They get to explain their issues or opinions on certain matters, and it's a way for both parties to brainstorm creative ways to get desired outcomes. the integrative negotiation mostly ends in win-win solutions. And now we'll go to outcomes and lessons learned.
Thank you, Shelby. Our next slide is the outcomes and lessons learned, the effects of stress, conflict, and negotiation on organizational performance. At Maverick Electronics, the cultural tension and unclear expectations following the acquisition created significant stress. Without clear communication or shared direction, absenteeism and morale declined. Dysfunctional conflict replaced problem solving, showing how unmanaged tension weakens both identity and performance. And because these parties never engaged in true integrative negotiation, hostility persisted and productivity stalled. The lessons are clear here. Coercive communication increases resistance, while collaboration builds satisfaction. Mediation and active listening could have reestablished mutual understanding, and continuous feedback combined with psychological safety supports lasting performance and trust. Next up, Shelby will be discussing how this connects to other chapters we have studied.
Yeah, I first wanted to point out organizational culture from chapter 6. It seems that the employees and new management have a different idea of what Maverick Electronics culture is. The employees are used to the old Maverick Electronics values and culture, whereas the new owners are pushing to change the culture. I think both parties need to come up with a solution that integrates both ideas of the company's cultures that stay true to the old Maverick, but also integrates the new Maverick Electronics. And then chapter 9, roles can be assigned to help negotiation go smoother. I think each side needs to have their own person for each role to help keep everything fair. Some examples of good roles to assign would be interior contributors. They can come up with ideas or prompts for a healthy brainstorming session. The information seeker can help gather information from the other side. This way, their party can better understand the other side. Or the elaborator can help push people to elaborate on ideas and thoughts. And then for chapter 8, the conflicts both parties are facing is due to not seeing eye to eye on identity, culture, and image of the company. How employees identify with the company is game challenge due to the management. They need to find a new culture that integrates both parties' values. And if negotiations are not effective, it can affect how the products are being made, which will start to have a negative effect on public image. They need to find a new Maverick's Electronics identity, culture, and image. Now we have some recommendations.
Yes, we are now at the recommendations part of our presentation, which focuses on strengthening communication, trust, and collaboration in the Maverick Electronics workplace. I will start with my recommendations, which focuses on communication-based solutions to complement Shelby's focus on stress management. First up, we have that Maverick should use integrative negotiation supported by neutral mediation. This approach encourages interest-based problem solving rather than positional bargaining, and it restores fairness and credibility between the union and leadership. Second, the company must improve its communication climate by creating regular two-way feedback sessions and cultural cross-training. Managers should definitely practice active listening and recognize employees to reinforce pride and identity. And finally, from my side, leadership accountability is critical. Respect, consistency, and fairness must be modeled at the top, including communication and trust metrics and performance and reviews, which leaders are evaluated on the culture they create, not just the results that they deliver.
Yeah, and then for my recommendations, I want to talk about stress in the workplace. Though these techniques won't help with resolving the current issues facing the company, I do think having these in place in the future can help reduce stress levels when a stressful situation happens. The first recommendation would be stress management classes to help educate employees on stress, find ways to relax, how to meditate, how exercise reduces stress, and give advice for lifestyle. Another helpful tool would be employee assistant programs. These programs can help employees get advice on financial, emotional, and mental issues they're facing in or outside of the work. And now we will go to visual summary.
Thank you, Shelby. So yes, this visual summarizes conflict to collaboration, which builds a healthy organization climate. Maverick's journey starts from stress to collaboration, with high stress and cultural tension, where we see role conflict, overload, and uncertainty. That tension produced dysfunctional conflict that was characterized by miscommunication and low morale. Through integrative negotiation and mediation, both sides can share interest and build relationships, which leads to improved communication climates that are supported by feedback and active listening, ultimately reducing stress and building cultural understanding. And then our full circle ends with a positive outcome, which is a healthier organization with lower stress, stronger identity, and sustainable performance. Next up, Shelby will discuss some of the key takeaways.
Yeah, so for my key takeaways, would be that stress management training can help employees in stress-inducing situations. With a company giving employees tools to help with stress, this can benefit the company in their day-to-day or when big deadlines are coming up. And then my next key takeaway is that negotiations are necessary for conflict resolution. Both parties have issues with the other party, and if both parties are successfully negotiation, then they on what they want and needs, this can be for a more successful company.
Yes, and then to close our presentation, I will discuss the main lessons from Maverick Electronics, followed by our MLA references. And just to kind of go back over, what you said, Shelby, first, stress management training gives employees the tools to handle high pressure situations effectively. What I see is that when workers understand how to manage stress, they're better prepared to stay productive even when challenges arise. I would also say that negotiation is key for resolving conflict by focusing on what both sides want and need. Organizations can reach fair, lasting agreements rather than short-term fixes. And conflict isn't always negative. It can promote growth when managed collaboratively through integrative negotiation. I feel that this approach builds trust and helps both parties reach shared goals. And I would also say that communication climate and leadership matter. Transparent, empathetic leaders, they foster engagement and reduce workforce stress. And just to wrap this up, long-term success depends on collaboration, which leads to sustaining a shared identity that also requires continuous communication and leadership follow through to help keep employees connected to a common purpose. And we have our MLA references, last but not least, of course. These sources provided the theoretical foundation for our analysis of Maverick Electronics, linking stress, conflict, and negotiation to communication climate and leadership. They also demonstrate how our recommendations align with established organizational communication and management research.
Yeah, thanks for watching our presentation. We hope you find this information helpful that can be applied to your organization.
Bye. Thank you.